They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. I am your host, Jeff J. And joining me this week in my illustrious round of guest appearances is my friend, the digital content producer extraordinaire, Taj Rani. Taj, what's up?
Hey, what's poppin'? What's good?
I mean, you know, clearly that weather over there, because that sun was shining. Like, she's in sunny LA, kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Defected from her friends in New York, but that's a story for another day.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Yes, the sun is still out in sunny California, so like I can't be too mad. Smiling, you know.
No doubt, no doubt. You know, I always got to give her hell every once and again. She be in New York more than I be in New York, low key. But you know, she's doing her thing, and we are here. The reason why she's here is we're here to review, recap, whatever have you, season 5, episode 5. Happy birthday! I'm very proud of Curtis Jackson for not inserting "In the Club" anywhere in this episode. Can I say that?
That's probably really difficult for him.
I was fighting it because I was like, "Yo, how do we miss this placement?" But that would have been too on the nose.
But someone should actually do some type of cut down to "In the Club."
Oh,
just from this episode.
Right. Maybe the part when he's riding the bike.
Yo. Actually.
Yo, that might be it. Yo, we might need the director's cut. The Get Rich or Die Trying cut of this episode.
I think that we do. And I think it's extra appropriate since there was another bomb rapper in it. But
Right. Yeah, we gonna get to all that because, listen, I'm very transparent about the show, the highs and lows. Y'all know you've been on the show before, Taj. You already know how we do with it. But this was the best episode of the season, I think, by far.
No, facts. I think, you know, the acting, I don't want to say has been, well, it just hasn't been to this level all season.
Right.
Like, I feel like we've seen a lot of episodes, people really going through the motions and stuff like that. Like almost like everybody's kind of acting in a bubble, but this is the first time where I was like, ooh, like really like screaming at my TV. So there was like a lot to work with here. I feel like it's the episode we've been waiting for, to see the passion come out of everybody, no matter what it was about.
Right. Yeah, you really got all-star acting performances from the collective. I think the ones that shine usually shine, but everybody, it's like everybody raised their game for this episode, and it really landed, man. There was it's so much in this episode to talk about. I want to start off small because we got Bill, because you already know we got some things to discuss. Let's start off with the Italians, that whole situation. So it's so shaky and it's so shady, and I can't read Tariq at this point because I don't. Just go ahead. It's so much. No, you seem like you was on a wave. Hit that wave. Don't splash out.
I just I can't read Tariq at this point because it's like season 4. You don't really like him. You just don't. Like, you might feel kind of bad for him because of Connie. Like, you have this level of like you're kind of empathetic,
right,
towards him and his situation. Then it's like you hope he wouldn't do anything to screw Tommy over. Then this season, it's like you use Tommy to get out, but then you were willing to kill your best friend instead of Tommy, who you used to get out. But I can't wrap my head around him. I can't wrap my head around most of the characters, but with him, you're starting to see him regret being some type of informant and stuff like that when he met up with Mock and Sax.
Right.
It was just kind of like the look on his face.
Yeah.
He looked like he was disappointed in himself. So, but that scene with the Italians was crazy.
So here's something that was funny to me, right? They pull that whole scheme where Vincent basically tells them, yo, they confront him on the lies and puts their lives in Teresi's hands, literally. You got to pull the trigger. If you don't pick one, both are dead. Now, I've seen this in a few other shows. And, Sammy really wilded out because Teresi picked him and wilded out on Tommy. And I'm looking at him the whole time like, dogs, Tommy didn't put the gun to your head. He might have ushered it there. But he's not the one who pulled the trigger. Your man's pulled the trigger. And it was fun. You know what it felt like? He knew it was business. So with Teresi, he wilded out on Tommy and then said, yo, you really picked me? You don't even know this kid. And he said it with such a calm, like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I can't even believe you. And Teresi says I can believe that he felt the gun and knew that there was no bullets in it. I could lightweight believe that. But even if it was a bullet in the gun, what was you going to do? Spray the whole spot? Like,
but then also, it's like, when was the last time Teresi held a gun? Right.
At this point, a freaking mango in your hand probably feels the same weight as a gun. You know what I'm saying? For what you know. But it feels like he's almost fighting himself and his own nature to Rat, where that's what he grew up on. And that's what he knew. He sat for 25 years because he wasn't going to tell on people. And that scene, I thought it was ill how he was giving Mock and Sax little bullshit, but it wasn't until he found out, he saw the money, the ghost check to Tommy, that he knew, okay, this dude is laundering, this is what I'm going to tell. But then he also completely tips his hand by giving Tommy that speech about what a rat is. And it's ill how he broke it down. And it's, Tommy in his head, he's going through the whole situation. The hit happened. He's like, yo, I don't really believe it's Dre. And you see Kanan and Ghost are telling him like, nah, it was definitely Dre. Because it was them. It was this plan. And at the same time, you see how conniving Kanan is. Because when Tommy says somebody got hit, you see Ghost realize, wait, they were supposed to use blanks. And Kanan's like, yeah, I dropped them motherfuckers. Like, I dropped them. And then Ghost is just like, Ghost kind of had to look like, all right, well, at least it worked out. And we got the Italians not to mess with Tommy anymore. But just hearing Teresi give that speech where he's like, a rat is only a rat if he rats on someone he should be loyal to. If you inform on someone you don't give two shits about to advance your own cause, it's just business. So Tommy don't trust nobody. And he's the loosest cannon on the show, but he's crazy, or he's psychotic from a perspective of he puts the dots together and he goes with the most extreme case possible. So now he's thinking, okay, could he be talking about me? I still don't know about this dude because Proctor's telling him, everybody's telling him, yo, watch out. Watch out. Because he may have something in it for you. You don't know. So that's where we get that's I kind of like that, but I'm thinking, did he get him drunk?
I think something interesting about Tommy being so confused, it's kind of like that moment he had with Ghost. Like, Ghost was like, basically in so many words, you've been his son for 2 minutes. Like, for real, like, that doesn't sound weird to you. And then it's like, they have that moment of kind of falling out for the 10th time since we've been watching the show. But it's kind of like you just said, Tommy doesn't really trust anyone. He probably barely trusts himself.
Right.
But I think this whole idea, because we also saw him have that moment with, did he have that moment with Kanan, where Kanan kind of like cracked a dad joke and Tommy was kind of like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But it's like, he wants that relationship with his dad so bad that he's willing almost to blind himself. I mean, we've seen it before with Ghost, because you also have the moment where Kanan is just kind of like, damn, you really can't think for yourself, huh?
Right.
You're really sitting here under this mind control. You can't think for yourself. So it's like people who Tommy really loves and would really, really protect. It's almost like being blind in a bad relationship. He just doesn't want any parts. But like you said, once something goes left, he's going the extreme route, and there won't be any coming back from whatever this next extreme route is that he's going to take, because it's going to happen. He won't forgive himself, I don't think. Right.
And it's even brought him to the point where he's willing to have a temporary alliance with Angela, of all people, who is probably his mortal enemy on the show. For all intents and purposes, he's willing to work with her in order to figure out this whole Jimenez thing through the back end. Because Angela, she's feeling the heat. Like, they caught a major L. They can't prosecute the Jimenez no more. Mock and Sachs are running this operation where and it's funny because her boss Tamika is thinking they're just trying to get Tommy on the drug cartel stuff, but they want to bag Angela too, and she doesn't really know that. So it isn't until they have that conversation that she's like, yo, you telling me about secrets with the whole, because Tamika has enough to really suspect her. Like, yo, she's squashing murder detective cases, and then these dudes want to do stuff behind her back, and they're telling her, you don't know her like that. And Donovan is like, Donovan's really like, yo, I'm not even going to hold you. This is what it is. You got to make that decision on your own. So now she stops the trace, and she's basically telling them they got to get something, which is why now they have that money laundering lead. So they needed to get something, and she turned off she was like, I'll turn off the tracer, whatever, you handle that. To the point where now Angela's getting desperate, right? So she's calling Proctor to set up meetings between her and Tommy, where she's basically trying to gas Tommy into outing himself as the distro, which is hilarious because he's really not the distro.
Right. I feel like every time Angela comes to a big conclusion like this, she's usually wrong. Right. It's usually just like, sis, you're 5 minutes too late, and now you're just loud and wrong. Please go have a seat. Just go have a seat. Like, and also it's kind of like, you just had Ghost in jail, so why don't you just chill for a second? But like you said, I'm so sick of her. I'm like so sick of Angela, but it's just constant desperation. It's like she wants to prove herself, but she's going about doing it in all the wrong ways. So now you're going to collaborate with the dude that you were just trying to put away. Right. Sit down.
She handed him that tracer like that was her iPhone charger that she was letting him hold. Like, what? This is federal property, ma'am. You why would you give him the tracer? And at first I was thinking about it, and I was like, wait, ain't that tracer still on? But then I watched it another time, and I said, okay, they turned it off. But still, you gave him the tracer, and what do you think it's going to do? Because, well, I get why she might have taken the gamble now, because for all they know, it's still on his car. So they got to get it back one way or another without him knowing. And then if it's not there, then they could be like, oh, shit, he found it. Right? So so her giving him the trace at the end, I think, is really inconsequential. But for him, you know what I like? She was wondering why he wouldn't sign the immunity deal to have some type of leverage. And he let her know why. Because I've known where you've lived the whole time. Like when he made the comment about the plant. Yeah. And knew that she had a gun on her. And she's just like, yo, this man has been in my crib the whole time. But in fact, he's been around her since season 2.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember with homeboy, damn, I can't remember his name, that was messing with oh god, the Spanish dude, the Spanish dude that was I think he was the original leader of the Taínos. Oh man, I am blanking right now.
Not Julio.
Not Julio. I gotta now I'm on the clock because the dude that was calling her Bruja.
Yo, yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So shout out to imdb.com, your source for all things finding out stories and whatnot. Because I need to know. I can't believe I'm blanking like this. Like, this is killing me right now. And another reason, because that was like one of my favorite seasons of all time. But it was the brother who played. You remember Mr. Lopez from Martin? I ain't paying the $5. I ain't paying the $5. You don't remember that?
No. Hold
wow.
on now.
You are. Yo, I'm not choosing you on a team for Black trivia.
No, so don't ever choose me for a team for Martin trivia because I'm not into the show. So that's why I can't answer that question.
How did I let you on this show?
I know.
Wow.
You're
not into
person.
You know what?
No.
Did you watch Fresh Prince at least?
Yes. Everybody always asks that. And I'm like, yes. Like, I really like Fresh Prince and watched the Jamie Foxx show and the Wayans brothers and stuff. I just I'm not a Martin stan. Like, if it's on, I'm going to watch it. But could I do the Martin trivia game? Absolutely not.
I feel you. So Ruiz, that was his name. Remember Ruiz was one of the Primeras, and Nomar was the dude that was messing with his daughter.
Yes,
and
yes.
He killed Nomar, but Angela had followed Nomar to the spot. Mm-hmm. Like, he's always been in the background of shit that Angela wanted to do. And then on top of that, he wanted to put the hit out on Angela first. And he went and he did that way back in like season 2 or 3. So he's letting it be known, yo, do believe that if I gotta do something to you, it's going to happen. Because you know he has no tact. Like, he killed a federal agent in Proctor's crib with no regard for anything that could be going on. Like, that's the one thing. Tommy will kill somebody and mess up the whole system of order. So, yeah. If I was Angela, I wouldn't be feeling too comfortable about the situation either. But when you're trying to hide stuff that you're doing, it makes for strange bedfellows, you know?
But also, it's one of those things, like, besides the fact that Tommy knew she had moved something, it's like, Angela, it took you how long to get to the door? Like, I'm sure Ghost has explained to Tommy that you were holding a gun in your closet, and you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, she almost underestimates how smart Tommy is, and I think that's been part of her major problem. Like, she basically looks at him like, oh, like, Tommy's delinquent.
He's a weed carrier. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, he's dumb, he can't do anything, but it's kind of like, he's a lot smarter than you think. And that sometimes he's smarter than Ghost is. But, you know, she also has let Jamie back in her life. So, here we are.
I mean, was it going to end up any other way, unfortunately?
I really was hoping that Angie and Jamie were not going to end up being the Fitz and Olivia of power. And that after last season it was done. Like, I was just like, okay, I think the same way that Insecure is going to give us closure and Lawrence isn't coming back, that maybe they'll be able to stay away from each other in this way. But it's just like, we're back.
I mean, I'm saying they can't be friends.
No, Angie and Jamie can be friends. And also it's like, Jamie, Ghost, how stupid are you? She had you in jail, my dude. Like, what? If there was ever a reason to not talk to anybody or mess with them ever again, it would be that. But no, it's like, he's, you know, back on the bottle a little bit. He's calling her. Like, he needs to go get stuff for Tariq. He's calling her. It's just like, and she's showing up. When she showed up in the shoe store, and she's just kind of like, I thought that was a one-time thing. You couldn't have, because you just showed up again. So, like, what? I'm just trying to figure out, it happened for a while, if Angela is actually more crooked than we think, and she's somehow involved in some stuff we don't know about. Because at this point, it's just kind of like, leave them alone.
Right.
And also, are they the only people involved in cases that you touch? There are no other cases for you to touch? Like, what's happening?
Yo, I mean, that sex must be A1, because they got him doing some dumb shit.
But
some different shit. Like, I mean, that must be like some heroin level addiction, AUSA coochie. You know what I'm saying? Like that poom poom is like, bro.
AUSA.
I mean, yo, federal pooms must be different, bro.
But it's also like, she's clearly dickmatized, because it's like, you had the other dude that screwed her over, and she's slowly going. Yes, and here she is going back to Old Faithful. Like, you let him in the apartment. Meeting him out in public, cool. I get it. You know, old habits die hard, but
right
at your apartment after hours, sis, what?
Well, let's
What's
get
happening?
into that. You touched on Ghost, and it's just wild. And I said it last week on the show. He is the most powerless person in power now.
Absolutely.
And even when he wins, he loses. You think about this whole Queen's Child project and how Dre is now the face, and he's faced with a dilemma where Tate is telling them, "Yo, this is the face. This is what it is. This meeting is a formality." They brought Simon Stern back, which was crazy because I forgot for a second that he ended up becoming a partner again with James after James took all of his clubs and linked up with his wife. They somehow remained partners again, but he's been out of the picture. And, you know, anytime you get Victor Garber on screen, that's a plus. Like, that man is an actor.
All the time, like,
he's an
I
actor.
love him. He's like A1.
Yeah, like he's like this is when you know you're on screen with a Titan, because he was on Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow and all those CW shows, and he was killing it. And then he left. They wrote him off the show because he was doing Broadway out here. I think it was Hello Dolly, but it was something where it was like, yeah, you may want to go see him in that too, because he's just that good of an actor. And I thought their interaction was cool because Tate basically sons them. Like, yo, you gave me all these contributions. And you could tell, like, he was like the smug, rich dude. He commented when he was like, yo, we already have a black that came from the bottom. Why we need two? He's like, this is redundant. And he's like, and I've contributed to you people. You know, it's like he you peopled him in the most classy way possible.
But also it's like you peopled them after you said we already have one black. Like, it's crazy because watching that, it's like, nobody flinched.
No.
And it was just like, what?
That money's long, boy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But Tate is, I'm still trying to figure him out because I like him, but I don't. It's the same way, like, I really, really like Dre. Like, if they kill Dre off, I don't really know what I'll do. But Dre is maybe my favorite character on the show.
Dre could be a Mission Impossible villain at this point.
But it's like,
yo, yes.
It's he adds a layer of depth, and I mean, that's shout out to Rotimi because I really enjoy his acting. That he makes it hard to know whether or not you're rooting for him or against him. But like I said, it's kind of like without him, there would kind of be a hole there. Mm-hmm. But that whole scene was really intense and kind of connects to what Kanan had said. Like, you pretty motherfuckers just don't want to stay out the spotlight.
Right.
Like,
always want to be on TV, man. I want to be on TV, man.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like you said, Ghost is powerless, and it's kind of like if he would just go with the flow, it's a win. His name's on it, but his ego won't let him.
Right.
He just wants to be seen, but it's also like, you're a criminal. Don't you want to take the back seat real quick? You don't.
Right.
Like, don't you just want to, like, step back? And it's kind of like, who is he trying to prove something to? Is he trying to prove how much he really loved Raina? Is he trying to prove that he's a good dad? Is he trying to prove that he's not this criminal since he was just in jail? Like, what is he trying to win here? Because like Tate said, like, well, of course you're still part of it.
Right.
Of course. You're just not the face. Plus Andre is younger and will, you know, connect with the kids better. But it's like all that's over his head and he doesn't want to hear it.
Well, there is the little detail that Dre is responsible for his daughter's death and losing. And Tommy broke it down. We'll get to it when we talk about Tariq's birthday party. But you know, Tommy broke it down to Tariq lovely when he told him, he took my business, he killed my friend, he put you in the line of fire for with Raina, almost sent you into your death. Like this dude, and the reason why Ghost has an issue is because this is not on his terms. everybody else is controlling it when he was the one that was controlling it. And you think about it like this. Simon Stern gave him the best piece of advice. And he told him, anytime you're faced with a difficult situation, you get out of it with the confidence and the determination. Use the word aplomb. Like that was like $1 billion word. You know, like you finesse your way out of these situations just like you did with me. You finessed me out of 3 whole clubs and an empire. You need to finesse again. And he went corporate on Dre. I would have never thought about this, where he got him fired because he violated his no-compete clause at Truth. So Ghost is a businessman. Like he had it, and the fact that he pulled that out, that was like that was a chess move. Put him in a position where he wasn't going to allow Dre to work. So you got to get fired immediately. You lose the charity event at your spot. He's going to host it at Truth. Ghost is thinking, okay, I messed up his legal money. So now all he has is the drugs. So now he's going to be disgraced and won't be a part of the QCP. But Tata's like, I don't care about that. In fact, Tata's ready to get him another job with a donor so that he can be good. Tate just really don't mess with Ghost. He don't fuck with Ghost at all. And he fuck with Dre because he knows he's younger. He could probably manipulate the situation with him better. And he's determined to win on his terms. And the fact that Ghost cannot win on his terms, and plus he's never really coped with Raina's death. All of that came to a head. Yo, you missed your son's birthday party. You drinking. You're doing all this stuff, and you're watching as it succeeds in spite of you. In your club, the dude that had a hand in your daughter's death, the councilman that has you by the balls. Everybody's in your face, and you can't do nothing. Yeah, he was gonna snap. And I loved when he basically snitched. He sounded like a scorned lover. You don't know him. You don't know Black Dude. He's still slinging dope. He was going in on him and then try to choke out Tate.
So it's just it's loaded. That whole scene was really, really loaded. So one, I'm trying to still understand Tate because he's crooked. So he's another one. I'm like, from the very, very beginning, I thought it was just he was weird. Like, he's manipulative, obviously, but I've been trying to figure out, like, what he really knows about Ghost. Like, I really think he knows more than what he said, because it's just kind of like you don't just meet someone and manipulate them. Because it's like, if Ghost was a normal person, he would have been able to walk away easily.
Right.
Like, we wouldn't even be at this place. So that's first. When Ghost choked him out in the club, I thought for the first 15 seconds, I was like, oh, this must be what he wants to do in his mind. There's no way he just snapped like this in public. And here we are. He snapped like that in public. But
drunk actions reveal sober thoughts. Isn't that what somebody said?
That's what they say. But it's just also, like you said, Ghost hasn't handled the death. He's thinking that killing the person that killed that other young man was going to fix it. He thinks that running Tasha off for good and blaming her and calling her lazy and not letting her talk in therapy, he thinks that that's going to fix it. You know, he's running around trying to, like, fill a void, but he doesn't know what to fill it with because he refuses to address actual feelings. This is maybe the first time we've actually seen Ghost feel anything about something outside of reconnecting with Angie and losing Angie, and then reconnecting with Angie and losing Angie.
Right.
But it just shows his lack of maturity, and it kind of continues to prove Tasha's mom right. Tasha's mom has been talking about Ghost the whole series.
She definitely has.
Like, from season 1, it's just kind of like, it might be the first episode where I think it was Raina or Tariq was like, oh, can Dad help me with my Spanish homework? And then Tasha's mom was like, and how exactly does he know Spanish? And Tasha's like, I don't know, Mom. He knew it before I met him. So it's just like, we don't like you anyway. get out. But plus, there's also an element of Ghost isn't really needed for anything right now. He's not running his clubs. He's not needed for the Queen's Child Project. He's clearly not needed as a father because he's not doing a good job. He's not needed as a husband. And he's not doing anything. He's just literally in the middle of this world existing right now. Only because, like, really people are just, like, letting him. But he's not helping anybody. He's really only harming himself. So. Yeah.
Tate tells him when he's like, what kind of man would murder over a business dispute? And he's like, yo, you don't know who I am. He's like, yeah, I think I do. I loved how when he got up at the end when Stern called his Coast's name, he was like, you know you done fucked up, right? This show is funny how they inject their humor. Sometimes they inject it subtly like that. And other times it's like dead ass in your face. Mm-hmm. Right? So you got Ghost, this dude super drunk. What did you think about drunk Ghost? Acting, how that was. Like, how did you think, like, yo, the Henny definitely hit his system. Like, he cursed out the Reverend. The Reverend was like, I'm going to take care of you, son. Like, he encourages him to go to the... Son. He's like, I ain't your son, nigga.
Like, it's kind of like, calm down. You're talking to a man of the cloth right now, and you can't see straight. Relax. But it's kind of like, I'm wondering if we're going to get to the root of his alcohol problem, because that's also been something that, like, has been injected, like, since season 1. Like, we know he doesn't really drink like that. Mm-hmm. We don't really know or understand, like, why. We just know he doesn't do it.
Right.
And now it's starting to really show itself, from choking Tate out to cussing the Reverend out, then having to go talk to the Reverend later. But then it's like, you get home because you drank your way through your son's birthday party and you blast your son drunk, that was a really good scene. That whole sequence.
And it wasn't just really blasting his son. Tariq gave that man the business. I didn't know who was the son and I didn't know who was the father, because Tariq might need a Father's Day gift. He went all the way in on him. Yo, to the point where he brings the Jordans. He's like, I don't want this. I don't want your money. He wants the truth. That was like his tell the truth moment, yo. Like, he wanted the truth. He's berating Ghost about Raina, saying the only reason why Raina, like, he's hitting him with nothing but slander. Like, yo, the only reason why Raina didn't say nothing was because you bought her stuff. You can't buy me. Like, he's going all the way in, talking wild shit. And Ghost can't do nothing. He's trying to swing on him. He's drunk. Like, this was the epitome of, I'm taller than my parents now, and I'm going to shoot my shot and assert myself. And yo, when he was like, I'm going back to choke, and he was like, you can't do it without my money. He said, I don't want your fucking money. I was like, wow. He was like, I don't fucking want your money, Ghost. That was the point of no return for me, because Tariq has had it. He's up to here. With the whole drug game and everything. And this dude, like, yo, Ghost got kicked out his crib. Like, he really got kicked out of his crib for that. So I thought that scene was real powerful, because you could see Tariq has reached his boiling point. Mm-hmm. No matter how wrong he is, he's reached his boiling point, and Ghost brought it upon himself. And furthermore, if Ghost would have put them hands on him, like he was supposed to a couple of episodes before, I don't know if Tariq would have been breaking fly like that. But we here now, and Tariq put that man in this place.
Tariq, I mean, we don't like the character. Nobody likes the character because he gets on our nerves. But it was a moment of truth, and it's a moment of truth that it's one of those things, like, you know, like when you get to a certain age and stuff, you might, like, get into it with your parents a little bit. Mm-hmm. Your parents, their feelings get, you know what I'm saying, they get hurt, they're affected, they really, like, think about it. It's not like you're a 2-year-old being like, I don't like mommy because she didn't let me. It's not that anymore. So this truth coming from Tariq is different from it coming from anybody else, because everybody has said at a certain point, like, you're selfish, you get on everybody's nerves pretty much, you don't think about anybody, you know, you don't care about your family, you only care about you. he's been ignoring that for how long? Like, you're talking about a man who was like in jail, came out and tried to act like everything was going to be perfect.
Right.
But it's not until your son says this where it really hit hard. And I think that's why Tasha kind of sat there and let him just go. She only jumped in when Ghost tried to attack.
Right.
But it's like he was affected. So this is really it's a turning point, I think. And like you said, like, then you can't even sleep in your own house. You can't even sleep in your own house. And actually, the nerve of you to try to act like you're going to kick me and our son out. Like, get out of here.
He's definitely like, this is my house. He's like, not nowadays. You got to go. He said, come back when we leave. I was like, Ghost, you just got to go, bro. Just take that L and go. But, you know, it's powerful that he ended up at the Reverend's church to talk, and he really got talked through it, where he's blaming everybody. He's blaming God. He's blaming his son. He's blaming everybody but himself. And I like how the Reverend brought him to the point, like, yo, what do you think Raina would do? What would you want to do for yourself? And he was like, yo, I want to be a better man. And what better way to be a better man than to go to your ex's house who put you in jail and broke and helped along with you in breaking up your family, and is now in as much illegal activity as, if not more, than you currently are. And now we're here. Right?
Mm-hmm. But that, you know what, though? It's interesting, too, that so one person that gave him the sobering moment was Tariq, but the pastor really getting at him, kind of like, you keep talking about everybody else.
Right.
But basically, the common factor here is you. And it's just kind of like, he's not self-aware at all. And he hasn't evolved. Everybody else on the show has evolved in some way, shape, or form. Ghost is now, like, he's plateaued.
Right.
Like, he's plateaued. And it's almost like he's emotionally stunted. So it's kind of like, what's next? Angela's not helping you out this funk. So, like, what's next? Are you gonna, turn a new leaf? Or are you gonna remain the same jackass you've been since season 1?
Right. Yeah, and this is the decisions that he have to make. And speaking of Tasha, I mean, Tasha had some hard questions to answer herself, because this whole, you could tell, like, she's been able to grieve more than Ghost, but she's still messed up. She bought the wrong cake. And it's ill how you see when Super Simp Terry Silver was in the spot with her, and just talking about, like, he's doing all his best to try to get over to his house from the hotel. He's like, bring your kids, bring your mama if you got to. I just want you there, And she's affected by the baker, who tells her, like, same thing, because they reiterate a bunch of times that they're twins. So Tariq lost his twin.
Also, can we time out for a second and really talk about this twin thing?
Yeah.
Because they imply it again throughout the seasons and stuff, but something about Sunday's episode had Twitter really going off, because everybody was like, hold on a second, twins where? And twins how? And twins what? I just want to say, I've been trying to figure out if there is a larger reason for them actually being twins, as opposed to Tariq being, like, the quote-unquote older brother, since that's what everybody thought anyway. Right. But that's just, like, it's just an aside for me, because I'm just like, you really have to be, like, in it to know. Mm-hmm. But I was just wondering if there was, like, a deeper, because it's not like Tariq's been walking around like, damn, I lost my other half. Like, that's, this person I have this secret connection with and stuff like that. So yeah, right. I just had to say that, because it was just like, Twitter was slightly up in arms, as was my Instagram story, like, timeline. Like, my cousin was like, okay, like, what?
Well, they've spoken about it for a minute. I will say it was probably last season or towards the end of season 3 where they dropped that tidbit that they were twins. And I was like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, I remember being on an earlier episode of Power After Hours, and we brought it up, and I was like, wait, they're twins? Mm-hmm. The only thing even more surprising is that the third daughter, Yaz, is even around. Like, it's not in her writer to appear in every episode, apparently, but You know, she like I said last week, she lives where Bobby Shmurda's hat got thrown, and she only comes down whenever she feels like it. So they have one absent. They have a deadbeat daughter, a deadbeat young child who's never around, and then I guess they're fraternal twins. So that's
the most fraternal,
right?
The most fraternal,
right? Like fraternity, like they be stepping and shit. Like that's how fraternal they are. So. That's something a question. I hope if I speak to Courtney Kemp again, I want to ask that what was the storyline reason for making them twins? Maybe it was for this point. I don't know. But that dinner was jokes. You got Kanan sending Tariq bitmojis.
Yo,
that is like the classic hood dude who just got back around technology that starts using the text. Yo, that man sent a get rich or die trying bitmoji.
like 2 years after the rest of us stopped using bitmojis, here he goes.
Yo, you would have thought. I thought he was sending clip art.
But also, why has nobody changed their number? What is the problem?
Well, to be fair, we just see that they're texting. We don't know if they're burners. We don't know if they're whatever. It's just their text messages, to be fair. But, she's texting Silver. Tariq is texting Kanan. Everybody's like, I like the whole Socrates bit. The fact that Tommy knows Socrates, I think that was hilarious. But here's something funny. So Tommy takes him on a joyride, lets him drive his car as his present to eventually corner him about snitching to Dre. How he knew how to drive?
So, right. So when I saw it, I was like, first off, it's not like they're out in the country somewhere where he could just put the pedal to the metal and just like go.
Right.
Tariq out here like speed racer doing a damn thing through downtown Manhattan.
You would have thought he'd been knew how to drive for years.
Right. Uncle Tommy, I'm not old enough to drive. Oh, well, we couldn't tell Tariq because if this is the first time you're behind the wheel, you're looking like a professional who's been a licensed driver for quite some time. Like, what?
That man was driving like a dollar cab in the city. And mind you, for those of y'all who aren't from New York, the last place you want to take your first drive is in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. The absolute last place you want to take your first drive is in Manhattan. So I don't know, maybe he was go-karting, maybe he was a Mario Kart legend or something. I don't know how, but I know when I went to driver's ed. Did you do driver's ed?
No, I didn't. My mom taught me how to drive.
My mom was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. You not messing up my car. Go take driver's ed. So I took driver's ed, and this is where the dude has the brake on his side. The first time I drove a car with no power steering, like they really want you to learn how to drive. I'm rolling my eyes and whatnot. So I'm driving, and I got the heavy foot already, and dude is braking for me. But Tommy's crazy enough to let a dude do that, but I just thought it was funny that his first ride, he's riding like he's playing a racing video game. And even Tommy's like, it's just like a video game. I'm like, but fam, it was just funny. I like how he was like, yo, pull over. And I'm like, yo, how does he know how to pull over? Did he just learn how to drive? I just thought it was pretty funny, like how that you really want me to suspend belief. But in the vein of Tommy continuing to put two and two together, he makes Tariq confess about being the snitch and wondering why. And I understood Tariq. I finally, because we wanted to know why. Why the hell did you do that? And he basically said, yo, he delivered Ray Ray to me. He wasn't thinking like, yo, you sent him to Ray Ray knowing Ray Ray got guns. He's a trained detective. He can shoot, all of that, or police officer, whatever. You sent him to Ray Ray, but you also sent Tariq to him. So Tariq is like, yo, he gave me info on, mind you, Tariq had to blackmail him to get it, but he gave him info on where Ray Ray was. So he basically paid back the favor and said that he did the right thing. And I loved what Tommy said because I can see it when he was like, loyal only to your own cause. You sound exactly like Ghost. And he's telling them like, yo, you don't know nothing. Remember Socrates. But it is true because you think about it. All this shit that he's been doing, from drinking the lean, hanging out with Ray Ray and Kanan, hitting these licks, picking and choosing when he wants to divulge information. It's all been for him. Yeah, we can talk about the effect his family and learning their secrets and all that was. and all that effect. But it's all been to serve himself. And as long as he's all right, even telling Raina not to tell, knowing what could happen, it's all been to serve himself. So in essence, he's evolving into a more ruthless version of Ghost, or a more reckless version of Ghost. He can't even leave Kanan alone. He's getting rides from Kanan. I love what Kanan was like, yo, I would tell you happy birthday, but it seems kind of fucked up because of your sister.
Yo. Kanan is like the worst, but he's the best.
Yes.
But it's just like, what? But also it's kind of like, it's sad in a way that's in a way Tariq's father figure. Like, oh, Ghost, I don't need you to get back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just make this call. What?
He's learning on his own. So that's what it is. So quick things. That scene with Tasha and Silver with the whole warrant. Why were the detectives coming over talking about, we have a break in the case, but we can't tell you because it's part of our ongoing investigation? So why tell them that you got a break in the case?
Right.
Like, you coming over for that ballistics. Right. You coming over for that ballistics report. And I do believe that they knew she was, like, they were laying a trap for her, because she did tell them that it was reported stolen, and Blanca, who was also there, claimed that it checked out, but who knows? But Silver's fed up. Like, he's like, yo, I've been trying to wine. I washed your car, I paid your rent. I've been trying to wine and dine you to my crib, and you still cape it for Ghost. So he wants one or the other. Either you're a victim or you're an accomplice, and he's ready to be out. So I don't know how Tasha's going to handle that. I also don't know how she's going to handle basically dry snitching to her son that she would have rather him dead than Raina.
Yo, that moment.
Yo, did you see the tweet where somebody was like, yo, would you have wanted Raina to die instead of me, and then put all of us, and it's the meme of the sister that does the well duh face when she's like rolling her eyes. I lost it.
Yo, but the thing about that whole, I'm tired of this Tasha Silver thing. So is her mama. Again,
her mom's fed up.
It's just like, listen to your mom. Her mom is like the peanut gallery that nobody's trying to listen to. Whole series. But it's like, she's sick and tired of it. She's telling you to stay clear because she knows that whatever's happening is like way sketchier than you're trying to admit to her. But that whole scene with Tasha and Tariq, where Tariq is kind of like, I can't let you do this. You know, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And then she freaks out. He asks the question. She runs away. And then you have the moment, like you said, Tasha's mourning. She's been mourning. But it's like, Tariq hasn't had that moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it kind of sucks. He already feels guilty. But it's also like, Ghost and Tasha don't like him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, neither one of them. Because Tariq said something similar to Ghost, if I'm not mistaken. And Ghost was just kind of, too drunk to really get into it. But it's, those were sad moments. I felt bad for him. This is the episode where I was like, okay, like, I guess I kind of got to be okay with Tariq again. Because up until this point, I've been like, he can go.
So let's talk about the main event, though.
The main.
Laces. Kendrick Lamar on Power. Give me your thoughts.
So, I watch Power as soon as it comes out. So,
Midnight Gang. Or 9 p.m. for y'all.
Yeah, right. Luckily. But on Saturday, like when I got home, it was like midnight and I watched and I was tired. And when I was watching, I was like, damn, this man looks like Kendrick Lamar. But in my mind, I was like, and I fell asleep watching it the first time because I was like so tired. But I was like, he sounds like Kendrick. Then I was like, that's a nose ring like Kendrick. And I was like, damn, is it Kendrick for real, for real? But it's one of those moments, like, he really transformed in such a way and really played that part. I really had to ask myself those questions. And then obviously, like, when I rewatched and stuff, I was on Twitter and everybody's like, fam, like, for real, for real? I never expected it. I feel like we've seen Kendrick kind of touch a little bit of this in music videos, I guess, do some directing. I would have never expected for him to pop up on Power, ever. But I really like that he made his acting debut on Power. And I love the fact that he made his acting debut on Power in a scene with 50 Cent. You know, who is one of these hip hop artists that decided to do the acting thing. But he was so good. Like, he was so good. Like, I'm so impressed. I can't actually wait to watch the episode again to just, like, really get into it again. But Kendrick's amazing. And I'm glad it wasn't a typical... I'm glad he just wasn't
a rapper
in some gang. Yeah, or a rapper or just some random dude they were doing business with. Like, he really had to tap into something and get really gritty. He had to really kind of come out that accent of his a little bit for different parts of it. But the schizophrenic quality of his character and stuff like that. But it's also like, having been in New York City or even out here in LA and stuff, you come across moments like that and you know what I'm saying, and people like that. But that was just so bomb to me. I'm like really, really, really impressed. Like, and I'm really happy. I'm really, really, really happy that it was him and not like a random actor and stuff like that. Like, it was bomb. And the fact that we got to see him in a couple of different scenes. So I thought it was going to be over after the first scene, but I like that he played a role through the whole episode.
Right. So I could tell you he's my favorite guest star in Power history. Might be one of my favorite characters. Laces. Like, this dude was the woke dope head in the neighborhood, where if you grown up in neighborhoods like that or even similar, you know who that is. Mm-hmm. And watching the interview that Courtney Kemp did with him, they basically said they want their guest stars to play somebody completely different from who the public knows that they are. So you think about Jerry Ferrara, Proctor. We've never really seen him as a lawyer before. You Mock, John Mock, right? Mm-hmm. Who's Sung Kang. He's in all the Fast and Furious. He's still smooth. He's been smooth like how he is in the show, but he's in Fast and the Furious and all these other shows. He never really played a detective or a AUSA. Who else? Lorenz Tate. Never seen him as a councilman. Old Dog is a councilman now. Like, you get different sides of people who are the guest stars or whatever. And Kendrick wanted to play the opposite of who he was. So he was like, yeah, I'll play a dope head, or I'll play a dope fiend, or whatever the case may be. And I just thought it was funny how Kanan linked up with him, where it was a random occurrence. He finds the neighborhood dude who knows more than people think that they know. Mm-hmm. And he uses him to set up random Tainos for the wet up. Can I say, just shout out to the director, Sanford Bookstaver. The shots in this episode were awesome. From when Ghost was drunk and having that juxtaposition of real life versus the when the Henny's in the system and you wild inebriated, like you got that dichotomy real well, and it was played well. This scene with 50 Cent, the first hit that they set up, where 50 Cent was riding this damn bike that he got for $20 with some gift cards, which is a steal in the hood, right? He hops on this bike, the old school bike with the streamers and the bell, to Mobb Deep's Shook Ones, as Laces sets dude up, and he comes through and shoots him. Like, even the shot where they're riding and it's from his perspective, where you see it over the handlebars, and then when dude realizes it's him, and even when Kendrick first appeared, that frantic zoom up to him and then everything pauses. It was little stuff too, like the music is playing, and then when 50 leaves or Kanan leaves, the music just stops, and he stops, and he looks around and then just walks off. That reminded me of a Kendrick video, low-key. It reminded me of a Kendrick video. What I'm going to say is, for me, I agree with you. I really liked how this episode was shot, but I was going to say that it felt music video-like. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not that the other episodes haven't been directed well, because I like the look of the show in general, but this added like different dimensions to it. Like I think that, like you said, they did a lot of things with the angles, just with the shots, so you could really feel. Because I guess this was an episode that was really about pulling us in, but you started to feel a lot of different things. So yeah, it was good. This was really, really good. But the moment with 50 on the bike is very music video, like the slow motion.
With the smile on his face. It was wild comedy. Like Kanan and Laces are the buddy cop / heist film I didn't know I needed until now. I didn't know I needed it. But his, and shout out to the writers too. His dialogue was amazing. Like the whole thing where he's talking about the neocortex heightening senses. That's how he could smell his cowhide leather jacket. The whole spiel he had about when he was breaking down the whole, he was like, we Spanish and we niggas. Don't think about it too hard. You might blow your mind. 50 comes and shoots him in the head. He said, you thought about it too hard, man. I lost it.
Yo.
What about the dinosaurs and the chicken argument? Yo, I had some good chicken today too, and it was conflict chicken for me because I was thinking about that dinosaur shit the whole time I was pounding it out. Like, yo, do we even exist?
You gotta hit the vegetarian tip real quick.
Yo, I'm telling you. Well, you know, Kanan ain't a vegan. Kanan ain't a vegan because he said he couldn't eat pussy, so he quit. Yo, can I tell you the end? The end was so poignant yet comedic, where this dope fiend psychoanalyzed Kanan in a way that he was trying to get out of being killed, because Kanan thought, all right, I hit all these murders, I gotta eliminate all the evidence. So once Laces hears the click clack, turns around like, who are you? I don't know you. And then when Kanan gives him the gun and is like, yo, sell this, and he just breaks it out like, yo, you don't have any friends, do you? Find it hard to make human connections? Are you sad?
Right, yo.
You know, he's like, you feel like nobody's there for you. Like, and the whole time you see Kanan's face change, like, yo.
Like, for real?
Like he's contemplating it, and then he goes into Cymbalta.
Yo.
And starts breaking down. He's like, butt noises, dick noises, butt bleeding. It can cause symptoms. It can cause certain symptoms. Like, yo, and it was ill how it changed. And he was like, man, get the fuck out of here. But he's just like, you nasty. Like the whole thing, talking about the Tower of Babel. Like it came off so like, it wasn't like fake woke. It was crackhead woke, where they may actually have a point, but because they're so high or shifty, you're like, man, I'm not trying to hear all that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he played it so, like, I did not see Kendrick Lamar. I saw Laces. That's important.
That's what I'm saying. When I first saw it, I was like, hold on. Is it Kendrick? Then I was like, nah, I can't. There's no way. But he did. He embodied that character. Like I said, I'm glad that the character was threaded through the entire episode and not just that very first scene.
Right.
It was good. That was the main event. That was it.
And they capitalized. I'm gonna tell you, they knocked it out the park with that one. Kendrick, yeah, that was a great call. That's the type of stuff that I think you need to inject new life in the series. I'm glad they did not kill him off.
I'm glad they didn't kill him either.
I'm glad that he has the ability to come back at any time, because we might need him to come back again. I love the quote, just looking through some of my notes, I love the quote that Kanan said about Ghost. He said Ghost is like that little bitch from Charlie Brown, always moving the ball. Talking to Tommy about not trusting him and always being overbearing, as he continues to effortlessly draw a divide between everyone. Not only just Tommy and Ghost, but Dre and Cristobal. Because Cristobal is like, yo, somebody's killing my people. I think it's Two-Bit. Which automatically implies Dre, which actually is low-key backfiring now, because Diego wants his money. He wants his clubs run, wants the drugs run. And Dre finally told him, yo, these dudes are probably the ones who put you in jail. These dudes are knocking off our people. These dudes are throwing our side. We gotta get them out of here. And Diego's with it, but not if they tell Alicia, which Alicia's gonna find out eventually. I know she's gonna find out, but this is how it's going down. This is how they're giving it up. You got anything else on this, Miss Taj? Anything else like this? I think we hit everything for the most part.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. The
Okay.
only thing I have to say is that I really don't want to see Angela and Ghost do anything. Like, I don't want it.
You not with the rekindle?
No, because at this point it's just kind of like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for what? And the thing about it too is like they don't even trust each other. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you rekindle something, you have to trust the other person. But it's kind of like they don't trust each other at this point.
Well,
they're doing things out of habit, but there may be some love there that's not lost, but there is no trust.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I just root for Angie to be smarter. But then again, it's kind of like her staying this stupid is what helps Tasha out, because Tasha knows she can keep Angie in pocket that way because Angie, quote unquote, owes her.
Right. And Angie ain't been smart since season 1. So, I mean, that is what it is. All right, let's get into some of these reader questions real quick before we get out of here. We got some good ones today. I mean, they must have known that Taj was going to be in the building because they
must have known.
You know what I'm saying? Like these are some official tissue ones. So, all right, first from Detective Conan on the IG, and as always, you can follow me at Jeff J Says, and when we post the Power Talk, you can leave your questions and we'll answer them on the air. Teresi told the feds about Tommy cleaning the money through the club. Isn't that all they need? They needed something, and they got that win. So we'll see where they can. Because at the end of the day, they have to catch them laundering. So
right.
I guess that's what they. I guess that's gonna work.
They need something, but it's also not to say Teresi won't feel guilty and say something to Tommy, so they can figure out a way to like work that out. Like I feel like Tommy always gets by somehow.
Right.
Always.
Yeah, you're right. Also from him. Also, wasn't Ghost drunk by the end of the episode? How did he get from the club to home to church to Angela's? And shout out to Pretty Teefus who replied, Uber, Lyft, Jamaican car service from Luke Cage. Duh.
Listen.
Well, he doesn't have drivers anymore, so I'm thinking he called Uber. It definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't shared ride because he wouldn't have got around that quick. He definitely would have got around that quick. Or if they're like in how they are in Manhattan sometimes, where they be purposely, shout out to Lyft drivers that purposely drive outside your shared space so that they don't got to pick you up in certain areas and you end up canceling. I'm very woke. I'm very woke to those maneuvers. So maybe he still has a service low key because you know Sean ain't there. He been dead since season 2. Yeah, he probably did get. He probably did Uber and Lyft or do the black car service. I don't know. That's hilarious. Pretty Teefus. Am I missing something? Because the way Tate has been pushing Dre into the limelight, despite being fired from Bassett Group, despite not being originally part of the founding group for Building Fund, why has Ghost nor anyone else realized or even questioned who Tate is, and why the erection for putting Dre out front? Yeah, so, I mean,
I'm telling you,
go ahead.
I just, ever since Tate appeared, like I said earlier in this episode, I question him because it's just like, you want to talk about a crooked politician even before Raina, because like he was around before Raina was gone. It was just kind of like, why are you attaching yourself to Ghost and what are you about to do? And like nobody is asking any questions, but the question needs to be asked. Like, we need to know who he is and why, because he has to know something about who Ghost is, who Dre is, and their connection to each other.
I think he's just a politician who just knows that he's in bed with dudes who was doing street shit. And now he's manipulating it because he wants to be governor. So I think he knows what he needs to know in order to get that done. But now, after Ghost put his hands on him, he may want to learn more. I'm pretty sure he came from those same streets or from them same areas, and he has more. He's probably leading on more than what he knows. But yeah, like I definitely agree that something is up. At least that's where they're leading us to be. So we'll see. Clock dodges. Kendrick Lamar killed his role and should continue acting. I agree 100%, man. Like I like to see him in something different where it's not so close to heart, because a lot of times when you're first acting, like when people first act and they're doing a role that's close to something they're familiar with, it's easier, and that's a great way to start. But this dude is an artist, man, and he really sees this opportunity. Like this dude, it's scary how good he was in this episode, and I can't wait to see him in more stuff because it's gonna happen.
Oh, I agree. Like that transition from stage to screen is not always easy.
Right.
For what I'm saying, for anyone. Like, we've seen plenty of people try to do it, and very few do it really, really well. But Kendrick is one that does it really, really well. So, like you said, hopefully they bring him back at some point in the season since he wasn't killed off. But I can't wait to see him do some other stuff. Facts,
big facts. PH Imbalance, what's going on, Top? So I'm supposed to wait. Hold on, let me get this because the screen almost went off. So Simon just went to Belgium, grew a mustache, and now his ghost voice a reason I call shenanigans. I didn't even know he was in Belgium. That's some real rich. That's some next level rich shit. Mm-hmm. My man went to Belgium to go find himself. I mean, can somebody send me?
I went to go find myself.
Where are you trying to go to find yourself, Taj?
Where am I going to find myself? One of the deserts in Arizona. That's where I would be.
You thinking too domestic, man. I'm like, yo, if they flipping the bill, like, send me to Bora Bora or some shit. Like,
I need to be somewhere with a desert. So
you really trying to find yourself? You're not trying to be lit.
I wonder if finding himself was code for being lit, though.
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't be surprised because he gets down with the get down for real.
Right. You already know he's about that life. So I wouldn't be surprised if Simon Stern was doing that shit. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a stretch, but anytime you can bring Victor Garber back on camera, you do that shit. You do it asaptually. Let's see what else. You want to hear some comments from my power group chat?
Yes, I do. I love that you're in a power group chat.
Oh, come on. You already know. This is my dudes. We nitpick, we talk shit, and we do everything in between. So, my guy, Cousin D, these Taino dudes got to stop walking down empty city blocks by themselves.
Like, all the time, though. Like, what is the problem?
If I was in heavy illegal shit, I would not be walking down anyone's alley. I would take an Uber to my car right up the block. Yup.
Facts.
Yup. $5 is enough for my life. Let's see. One other thing I chuckled at. Ghost told Angela Tariq is making the grades at Choate when, according to the timeline, he's been out there like 3 days. This is a big fact. My guy Black Bruce Wayne. I think everything we wanted to happen to certain people happened in this episode. People close to Ghost, other than Tasha, told him about himself. Tommy intimidating Angela, Tariq being confronted about his snitching, as well as everyone hating him. Do you wish it was me that died instead of Raina? The fact that Tasha didn't answer said enough. And Dre looking weak and vulnerable as he did when Kanan was about to toss his daughter off the ledge. That's real. I think we that's another thing. We did get a lot of things that we wanted to happen. We did get a lot of stuff, and they forward the story. They didn't botch it, and they made full use of Kendrick. I don't know what else we would really want. You know what I'm saying? So I think they did a real good job.
I'm very satisfied with this episode. I'm very, very satisfied with this episode. It just makes me sad because I'm like, we only have 5 left. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have a lot of stuff that has to happen in 5 episodes.
You want to hear the funny nitpick? He goes, watching it the second time, it's hilarious. Kanan on a bike, Mob Deep blasting. For instance, if I was about to get in my car, would I purchase a bike to then do a drive-by? And then after I'm on the bike, would I start ringing the bell from 100 yards away?
But that was crazy too, because it's like he rang it going down the whole street.
Like to let him know remember Wire, like Omar coming, Kanan coming, he coming to get y'all out of here. This episode, this might be one of my favorite episodes in the history of Power. I think the season finale of season 2 was still my favorite, but this one is up there. This one is really up there. I really enjoyed it. Like, I watched it multiple times.
What was the season finale of season 2?
When at the end, where Ghost had to kill off those people and he made it seem like it was the Jimenez who did it, and he had to kill those people because he had to get the heat off of him. Remember when they were closing the original investigation, when they were closing on him and people, quote unquote, were offing his cartel and he didn't know who, but it was actually him because he had to kill the people who weren't loyal and then restart the org. Like that shit was like that was peak Ghost. And then everything went to hell. So I really enjoyed this, man, and even more so, Taj, I enjoyed you joining me.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait to come back, hopefully for the finale.
Yeah, man. Yo, the finale is going to be like a party line. Remember the party lines?
Yes.
So many people from throughout the season that you have heard are going to make their appearance. We might have to do a 2-parter or something like that. That's
what I was about to say.
Bruh, I can imagine this episode is going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of talking. We might have to get some drink. I might do that shit live. Like put it live, put it on the timeline so people could join in live and hear us bug out. I'm gonna think of that because that's dangerous, but I like danger. So
I like that idea though.
Yeah,
I like
man,
that thought.
We might have to do it, but you already know you got the you got the invite, the forever invite, and you on Pacific time, so that always makes it easier. So we could be here doing it as late as we need to do. Tell the people where they could find you, find your work, etc., etc.
Well, you guys can find me on your timelines at Taj Rani. That's at TAJ, like the Taj Mahal, RANI on Twitter and Instagram. I'm always talking pop culture. I'm always talking power. So come join me.
She's a good follow too. She's not trash on Twitter. I can co-sign that. She's not trash. She tweets relevant things. Her retweet game is fire. You don't get no random like Cialis ads and whatnot on your timeline. Like
not at all.
It's dope. It's dope. And you know, she's a power fan just like you, so you should give her a follow and see what she's into. She's into a lot of good stuff. But you know, we did it, Taj. We survived. We answered the power talk. We went into the group chat and we did everything. So you got the full menu of Power After Hours. So I'm glad that you were able to partake. And I'm also glad for you guys out there in the audience, you guys and gals listening to us. Thank you so much for the support. As always, if you want to find and listen to more Power After Hours, you can catch us anywhere where digital signals hit your ears. iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, everywhere we are, Stitcher, all of those places. You can catch us on the Power After Hours feed from Nonstop Culture, and it's also simulcast on SoundCloud through Fan Bros Show. You can catch me on all social media at Jeff J Says. Talk power. I'm always talking power. I'm always willing to discuss, so just definitely hit us up. And also, if you have any questions or comments for our Power Talk segment, hit me on social media. Hit us at Fanbros Show, at Nonstop Culture, and we will answer you live on the air. This has been another edition of Power After Hours, and until next time, we'll catch you later.
Bright light, city light. This is where it goes down. Yeah. I just have enough. Legal order.